There were plenty of heavyweight matchups in Week 9 of the college football season, but none were bigger than Penn State versus Ohio State. Hello everyone, welcome back to College Football Corner. I'm Joe Archino, and I think, of course, if you're a college football fan or you've been paying any attention, you had your eyes all over this massive matchup for Big Ten bragging rights this weekend. But, of course, Ohio State gets the victory over Penn State 39-38, and they use a very impressive fourth quarter comeback to get the win. They were just sensational in the fourth. They outscored Penn State 19-3, and ironically enough, they complete redemption because, of course, they lost to Penn State in the regular season last year, and that certainly kind of raised a lot of questions and kind of shifted the momentum of both teams' seasons. But, of course, last season, Penn State went on a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter to beat Ohio State. This season, Ohio State uses a fourth quarter run of their own to get the victory. But I think, of course, there's so many things that come out of this game, but one of the most important was the play of Ohio State quarterback J.T. Barrett. In the fourth quarter, absolutely sensational. He was 13 of 13 for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone. Now, you look at his overall stat line from the game, and it's even more impressive. He was 33 of 39 for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. J.T. Barrett had to come and perform in this game because they're certainly the biggest matchup Ohio State's been in so far this season was against Oklahoma, and that certainly wasn't the best example of the way that he can play. He took ownership of this performance, he led it, and he was just absolutely sensational. You know, I think it's funny because he's kind of quietly crept up, and he's got 25 touchdowns and 1 interception this season. J.T. Barrett has put together a very nice year. One of the other things that coming into this game was very important to look at is what's Urban Meyer's track record in revenge games. This was obviously a redemption game for Ohio State. Certainly, Urban Meyer heading into this game was 11-2 in revenge games. Of course, now that he gets the victory, he's 12-2 in revenge games. So Urban Meyer gets another victory, and you know, of course, now both these teams, they've got difficult road games coming off of this, and they certainly both used a lot of emotion. This is a draining game. You have to put in everything you have because both these teams are very, very good. Penn State came out of the gate and looked very sharp. Ohio State committed 2 big turnovers, which when I was watching this game, I really thought that was going to hinder them from getting the victory, but they were resilient, and what can you say about J.T. Barrett? Again, he was just absolutely sensational. To me, when I look at this game and I try to look at the outcome, and of course, Ohio State jumps to number 3 on the rankings after this. Penn State drops to number 7. So if the season ended tomorrow, Ohio State would be in the college football playoff. And of course, that doesn't mean anything because the season, we still have some games to go. But I do think when all is said and done, we will see Ohio State in the college football playoff picture. This win certainly is a big plus on their resume, especially when they lost Oklahoma at home this season. But I think when you look at this, Alabama, we are all looking at. We all know what Alabama has done. They have been the most consistent, clear-cut team in college football this season. What we're all looking at is who has a chance against Alabama. I don't think anyone has as good of a resume to beat Alabama over Ohio State. Ohio State has shown you now with J.T. Barrett playing sensational, his best game of the season against Penn State. And I think, of course, Urban Meyer has the experience against a Nick Saban-led team from his SEC days and even from his Ohio State days. So I think when you look at the playoff picture and what we're starting to see and try to believe, Georgia has also been great. Notre Dame is really coming on. We've seen a lot of teams really rising, but I think right now there's no question that the only other program right now that I think people would be comfortable with giving Alabama a real game and giving them a real shot at beating them would be the Ohio State Buckeyes. But this was a sensational game from start to finish. It kept you on the edge of your seat, even if you had a rooting interest in the game or not. It was a great example of college football. It has been a great season. Ohio State redemption complete as they beat Penn State. That is going to do it for this episode of College Football Corner, everyone. Joe Archino here. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.